the main complaint I feel about Borderlands 3 was actually this character, this Ava girl, and how annoying she was, and how the story didn't respect the characters from Borderlands 2. Which, let's be honest, people who are really into Borderlands, they have like thousands of hours put into that game. So the fact that you kill a character that is so big and don't give them the respect they deserve, I can understand it bothers some people. They just kill a character and put some whatever. So I don't know.
It's like subversion for the sake of subversion. Like,
Yeah,
hey, we're telling you explicitly that what we did before wasn't that important, so
yeah,
now this is important.
yeah,
So I usually say that that's poor writing.
yeah.
Like
Mm,
I rarely see examples where that actually works
mm,
unless you have failed in the past.
mm.
Like I feel like Thor Ragnarok in the Marvel universe kind of did that. Like the other two Thor movies were pretty bad,
Mm.
and they were like, you know what, we're just gonna do
Yeah, yeah,
something completely different with this character. And we're gonna turn him into kind of like a comic relief, and then
yeah,
shift the whole thing. But if you're just killing off characters because you want to create content or you want to create tension, then people are going to have an issue with that.
yeah,
And it happens constantly. It happened with The Walking Dead. It happened with Two and a Half Men. I mean,
mm,
it happens all over the industry,
yeah,
all over the entertainment industry. But when it happens with gaming, it hurts more
yeah,
because it's like you were really invested.
yeah,
It's like, because when it's a TV show, it's like I'm not even paying for this. Like I just watch something else. But when
yeah,
it's a game, it's like I waited 3 years for this,
yeah,
and now you're telling me that everything that I played before is shit,
yeah.
and now we'll never get the opportunity to play with this character. Like this character doesn't matter anymore,
Mm.
and I understand kind of like the frustration. I don't share it, and I don't think that I usually go away. It's like, oh my god, I'm not playing this game because they kill a character. But sometimes it's like really bad writing, and like
Yeah.
it doesn't really hold the
When
whole
it
thing.
doesn't make sense is the main thing, that you just like put something out, someone out, and you're like, but why? That's what bothers me. Like, when it doesn't make sense, why do it in the first place? Like, come on, at least invest a bit of time in trying to make engaging, or like explain why this person had to die, and why died in the conditions, or like leave the game, whatever, in the conditions they did. Like, put a bit of effort. Like, I'm
You know
putting.
what?
Yeah.
I think. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, no.
I think a good example for this, which is the total opposite of what we were describing here in Borderlands, is God of War 2018, because that one, to me, one of the things that was so masterful for me in that game was that the main criticism of the God of War franchise, 1, 2, 3, Ascension, whatever you want to say, is that Kratos was a really immature, only like very one-note character, which is true. I totally agree with that, even though at the time I kind of liked it because I was a teenager. But
Yeah, I
whatever
mean,
the case.
nobody play God of War for the story. You play God of War
Oh,
for the gore.
not really.
That,
No,
that
I
was the
mean,
reason.
I played it because I'm a big Greek mythology fan, and yeah, the blood and the
And gore,
yeah, whatever.
like big, super violent and silly. That's yeah.
Exactly. But there's a part in God of War 2018 where you're in, I think it is Helheim, which is like the hell for the Norse mythology.
Oh yeah.
And there is a vision of Kratos, young Kratos, killing Zeus. And like, if Kratos in the first 3 games hadn't been a bad character, that moment in this new game wouldn't have been as emotionally impactful. Because the same way that maybe the creators of God of War, let's say Cory Barlog or any, like Sony Santa Monica, the way they, I'm not saying they're ashamed of what they did in the past because it was a pretty successful game, but they grabbed that criticism that that character had and infuse it into the old Kratos, the new Kratos, the older Kratos.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't want Atreus to see that because he's gonna then maybe be contaminated with that kind of behavior or something like that. I don't really have
Don't play the old games.
exactly. Please, Atreus, don't play the gold.
Hey, now I have a kid, so I don't really want the kids killing their fathers. Like, that's not cool. Don't kill me, please.
No, but I mean that it's so impactful how they grab the immaturity of the same character's previous iteration.
Yeah.
And give us a very emotional and important part of the game, and it's kind of one of the main plot points at some point where he doesn't want him to find out that he's a god because what's gonna come of that?
Yeah.
Look at what I did
And all
in
the
my